Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Wednesday, May 1st, 2024. This is your daily mortgage rate update. Thank you for joining me. Remember, you can join me live each and every day at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm broadcasting on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're here live, say good morning. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to give a hashtag replay in the comments. Let us know that you were here. Don't forget to smash that like button, tag an hello friend, share us in a group. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Make sure you give us that comment. It makes a big difference in the algorithm, all that good stuff. Remember, if you'd like to sign up for our free written email lock advice, we send it out to your inbox each and every weekday morning, www.ratelockadvice.com. Did I mention it's free? That's why we call it free daily lock advice. Little less free is our text alerts, $7 a month. Actually, we're going to be rolling out annual on that now. So many people have asked. I never really wanted to because it's so damn cheap anyway, but I figured out the cost of processing and whatever. So we're going to roll it out annual at $77. Give me a day or two. I just got to put together the sheet for that. And if you're currently there, then you will be able to sign up for that as well. So anyway, our text reminders, if you'd like to be reminded that I'm going live each day, you can go ahead and sign up for that. hmmr.io/reminder. Last but not least, check us out at originatorssuccess.com. Find out how we help you get loans from Google and social media. Let's go ahead and say hi to the live folks. Who do we got here this morning? I don't have a question of the day today. We're going to go deep on the Fed stuff, so we're going to have some fun on that. But anyway, let's go ahead and say hello to all of y'all that are here this morning. Mike Tebow, first one on the stream. Good morning, sir. Great to have you here, and thank you for joining me. Mr. Ron Siegel, celebrating National Chocolate Parfait Day. I don't even know what a parfait is, but you had me at chocolate. Anyone else have a sweet tooth? I love chocolate. I love chocolate. I love candy. You know, if you needed anything to prove that, here is a bag of Sour Patch Kids sitting on my desk. It's one of the reasons I'm fat. I love sugar. Damn sugar addiction. Anyway, good morning, sir. Dan Crowley, great to have you here, my friend. Also great to have you back as an Originator Success member. Thank you for that. Kyle Mazekas, great to see you, sir. Kelly Cargill, good morning. Christopher Ford, good morning. James Mahan, greetings, my friend. Mike Morano, hope you are enjoying married life, you lucky dog with that beautiful wife. Megan Lindbergh, good morning. Allison Foy, great to see you here as well. If I didn't say hello to you, go ahead and say good morning. And while you do that, let's go ahead and jump in and talk about what's going on this morning. Mortgage-backed securities up 20 basis points to start the day. Hallelujah, and let's celebrate. But I don't know that it's going to last long. Right now, it's 9:35. In about 20 minutes, we're going to get the JOLTS data, job opening labor turnover survey data. I think the JOLTS data is going to push this back down. We normally see improvement like this in bonds before a Fed meeting, but I don't think that it's going to hold up very long. But it is nice to see that mortgage-backed securities are up 20 basis points to start the day, especially when you look at yesterday, saw a big jump in most rate sheets. Mortgage News Daily shows going from 7.43 to 7.51. So basically pushing up to that 7.5 mark. Now, I don't feel good about today. How do y'all feel about today? Good morning, Scott Menser. Good morning, Crystal Nay. And Ron Siegel said, Hammer, join me in being in perfect shape. Round is a shape. Yes, I know, my friend. Just got to keep that heart strong, that heart pumping. Do your cardio. So anyway, how do y'all feel about today in the Fed meeting? So, of course, this morning I talked about we've got the JOLTS data that's coming out this morning. Right now, the 10-year Treasury yield, 4.64. That's not terrible. We've been at 4.65, 4.66. It's been running sideways. I'm I'm torn. Everybody is expecting the Fed to be hawkish, right? So there's all of these articles. They talk about traders count down to the Fed with no relief in sight for bonds. Treasuries had their worst performance in 14 months in April. Fed Chair Jerome Powell is expected to reiterate a more hawkish stance. Allison Foy is scared about today. And so am I. I don't think today's going to be good for mortgage rates. I think we're in trouble. I think we're in trouble, my friend. Scott Menzer says rate increase. That way they prove them wrong and keep it where it is. Yeah, no, they're going to keep the rates exactly where they are. They're not gonna do anything yet. Right now, of course, I mean, for May, it's 99% expectation that rates will be unchanged at today's meeting. The policy statement isn't going to open the door to rate hikes yet. It's definitely going to talk about the fact that inflation is sticky. They're not going to use that word sticky, but the fact that inflation is not progressing, right? That beating inflation back is not progressing. Right now, expectation of a June rate hike, less than 10%, right? Nobody's really believing that's going to come. July, it's 22%. September, it's at 40%. Now, there's still some pricing rate cuts. And I'm sorry, cuts. I got hikes back on the mind. November, more expectation of a rate cut, then rates will stay the same. And by the end of the year, again, only overwhelmingly expectation of a single rate cut, a minor and a double rate cut. Now, if this all disappears and if Powell can change this with a wave of a wand today. During his press conference, if he opens the door to the idea of rate hikes, and he's going to get asked, I say at least 3 times. It's going to be 3 slightly different questions, but he's going to get asked at least 3 times about the possibility of rate hikes. They're going to keep pushing on it. They're going to harp on it. Now, again, I think that the media has focused on the fact that the Fed is going to have a hawkish stance today. Fed to signal delay of interest rate cuts. Officials may tweak policy statement amid stickier inflation. Central bank will likely announce a slower balance sheet unwind. Now, I don't talk about that a lot, but let's talk about that real quick. So basically, the Fed has 2 tools. They've got the Fed funds rate, they raise and lower. And then they've got the balance sheet, which they do quantitative easing and they buy up bonds, which drives down rates. Or they have quantitative tightening, which is the method they're using right now, which is letting their balance sheet run off, putting more supply out there and not buying, which means less demand. Now, that, of course, has been one of the reasons why mortgage rates are higher. Now, in theory, when the Fed says, okay, we're going to cut that in half, and I think I forget what the numbers are, but I could look it up, but let's just say that it's, I think, like 45 billion. Ron Siegel, do you remember the numbers for the quantitative tightening? I think they were letting like 90 billion in treasuries roll off and 45 billion in mortgage-backed securities. And if they were to reduce that, in theory, they're going to be putting less supply in the market, and they would actually, because they're not just letting it run off, they're reinvesting, they actually create demand. So that should, in theory, help improve mortgage rates. But I don't think they're even going to announce it this month. There was an expectation that would start this month, that they would announce it and that it would come when, in the future soon. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to kick the can down the road. Let me let the cat in. This poor guy. Hold on a second. Come on in, buddy. Come on in, Mr. MK. There you go. The old guy, the 17 or 18-year-old cat MK is trying to get in. Anyway, as I get back here on the horse, I think they're going to kick the can. I do not think that they're going to put out there that they're going to, reduce their balance sheet runoff yet. They're not going to start tapering that quantitative tightening. I don't think it's going to happen. So I think that we're going to see rates take a dump this afternoon. Now, of course, we got to cautiously float to start the day, because if you've got anything that's floating up to this point, well, you've got no reason not to float. I could be dead wrong. Remember, it's not just what the Fed says, it's how markets react to it. And that's the part that's so hard to anticipate. I don't care what anyone else actually, like what they say about it, right? Because you have to wonder, did markets already price in the idea that, hey, we're not going to see this? Or do we, turn around today and see like we did last meeting, where all of a sudden, instead of expectation for 40% for a rate hike by the end of the year, about 35% that we'll see 2 cuts I said hike again. I really have to, my brain, cuts. 1 rate cut by the end of the year, possibly 2 rate cuts. If this disappears, mortgage rates go up. It's really that simple. Remember that we saw the worst we saw in October. Mortgage-backed securities were down here in October, all the way down here like you see. And this is where we're at now. We're not nearly as bad. We have a lot of room to fall. A lot of room to fall. And this is where we saw the worst rates last October when conventional conforming were up in the mid-8s instead of right now where we're in the mid-7s. And that today could kick off that direction. You know, we are seeing inflation not moving down. We want to turn around and say, hey, you know, all this stuff. I know that you say, Mr. Siegel, that there's a lot of reason to look deeper into these reports and that we're not following just chasing headlines. But if you're chasing headlines, U.S. private payrolls beat expectations in April. And if we're chasing headlines, you got to look at that last labor market report where we did not see revisions lower for previous months. I think we actually saw revisions higher. Right. So I don't think Friday's jobs data is going to be all that good for us. I don't think today's JOLTS data is going to be all that good for us. The ADP data, not really good for us. I don't think that we see it. I know that there's people out there that aren't happy with their jobs, that aren't finding new jobs, that kind of a thing. But at the end of the day, the economy is still jumping. Wages for job stayers rise 5% year on year. This is leading to what we call wage inflation. This is not what the Fed wants to see. Private payrolls increased 192,000 in April. Again, these are not manipulated government reports that are tweaked and adjusted and seasonal adjustments and algorithms. This is supposed to be the number of jobs just flat out from ADP, which is, I think they're still the largest private payroll company in the country. But this is saying, hey, look at this. After rising an upwardly revised 208,000 in March, upwardly revised. Reuters had forecast private employment increasing by 175,000 last month, and compared to the previously reported 184,000 in May. That's another 24,000 jobs that this was revised up. That's big. That's big. That's about 12%, right? That's a big revision up, not down. So anyway, all of this is my way of saying, guys, I'm not feeling it. Make sure you got your finger on the lock button. Even loans closing with more time. I think that this is going to trend us in the wrong direction. We've got the labor data coming on Friday. We've the BLS jobs data. And then on the 15th, which is more than 2 weeks away still, we're going to get that next CPI report. If that report does not come in and save our asses, well, we're in trouble. You know, rates are going to creep up. So the good news is consumers, they're getting through the stages of grief. They've come to acceptance. You know, they want rates to go lower. They want more affordability, but it's not happening. What's going to happen is we're basically all the loans that we do today are setting up the refis for tomorrow, right? And we will have a nice refi boom late 2025, probably. Hold on, I got to sneeze. Excuse me, I know that's gross, but can't breathe. So anyway, my friends, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. 13 minutes of me carrying on, telling you that I think that today's Fed meeting is going to be blah, but I think the Fed, the press conference with Powell is going to be terrible. I think that press conference is, I think we're going to see things get bad. So, but I could be wrong. We could see a positive reaction. I don't think I think the markets are going to overreact. I think we're going to start to see panic. Thank you, Ms. Mulcahy. Bless me. Thank you. And I see you here. Mike Schmulligan and Katie Colgan, Chris Hendrickson, Garrett Potts, Bill Stevens, Rob Stewart. Great to have all of you here. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think today? Up or down? Thumbs up or thumbs down? What do you guys think about today's meeting? Do you think it's going to help rates or hurt rates? Where do you think we end this week? Thumbs up, thumbs down? I'm thinking thumbs down, y'all. I think all of the forecasting that we were coming out the other side, every time it feels like it's there, it just turns. This one really twisted last month's CPI data. Remember, if I go back to the charts, those of you that may not have seen me talk about it before, where we really saw, it's right here, this drop, this big red candlestick. The CPI data was not that bad. It was not. Remember, we're talking about rounding from hundredths to tenths and being 1/10 off. And yet, look at the reaction that we had on that CPI data. And it wasn't just what we saw here in bonds. It was what we saw with expectation of the Fed rate cuts. They really withered up after that CPI data last month. And I think that it's going to definitely be there. Yeah. So, Kyle Mazikas, when you say thumbs up, do you mean that means that's good for rates, or do you mean rates are going to go up? I don't know which way, because thumbs down is bad. Boo, hiss. Thumbs up is, yay, it's going to be good. So, Scott Menser says he thinks it's going to hurt. Yasmin Martin says bad. Debbie Richardson, good morning. Katie says lock them up. I agree with you guys. I do. I don't have a good feeling. I know we're starting out with some improvement in mortgage bonds here. I don't even know if those are going to make it to the rate sheet. In 15 minutes, we're going to get that JOLTS data. I think we see a turnaround of this. Remember what happened? Look at this right here, yesterday. Look at that. Boom, boom, right after the open. And look what happened with the employment data at 8:30, right? Where was it? Where was that other employment-y stuff? Was that yesterday? Yeah, there you go. That was yesterday, it's all blurring together, right? Yesterday was when we got that, employment cost index or whatever it was. That was like, it's like a no-name report. It's like cousin third removed. We don't even talk about it. All of us, this is a report that I didn't even have to worry about existing until yesterday. And look at this drop. That shows us that we're definitely, traders are in a position that they're going to give. And there's a lot of headlines that talk about how much fear there is among traders. Traders count down to Fed with no relief in sight. No relief in sight. Treasuries had their worst performance in 14 months in April. I think it's going to get worse. Ashley said, either way, we're effed, it seems, these days. There's pandemonium on anything that isn't the Fed saying it's going to specifically cut rates. And that's true. It looks like they're all freaking out. So the only good thing is, I know this is terrible to say, but it's survival of the fittest out there, y'all. The good news is that there's a lot less originators this year than there was a year ago. I do know that you got to fight for the business. It's out there. And there is business out there. It's tough. The number of transactions is low because even if rates drop, the number of transactions might not necessarily increase dramatically, but hopefully they do. That's what we're looking for. It's really a game of the number of transactions right now more than it is rates. But rates obviously affect the number of transactions. But anyway, if you want to, Ron says, I still say lock, but I don't think we're in for a bad comments from the Fed. Danielle's report today regarding the wage cost index was very insightful. Ron, I'm probably going to sign up for that. I say probably. I'm still having a hard time committing. Do me a favor. Can you email me that? I want to read what you're talking about today. And I think I'm going to go ahead and throw her some money and start reading her stuff. One more thing for me to read in the morning, but you reference it so often that, it's her insight. But I don't know that I agree with, not that what she's saying isn't right, but just that the effect that it's having on anything. Most of the increase came from government increases, which was abnormally high. The other group that was extremely high was union jobs. Most companies are not excited about jobs. Yeah, but they may not be excited, but you know what? It's there. Oh, you did already? Okay, good. Yeah, you can tell. By the way, for anyone that ever emails me, I don't check my email. All right. I know that must blow people's minds. I don't originate. I don't have to worry about stuff from an underwriter. Unfortunately, because I don't want to say unfortunately, I love hearing from all of you, but I can't always respond to everything. I put out an email, I put out this live, and I'll still get somebody sending me an email. It's like, hey, do you think I should lock this loan? And I get it. And I love all of you and I want to interact with you, but because I do get so much, I don't read it. I don't catch it all. I have filters in place. So I try to catch some of the ones that I need to see the most. But anyway, if you ever don't get an email from me, don't get mad. Don't think that I don't love you. It's just because I don't read my email. So, all right, I'm going to wrap it up, y'all. Please join me tomorrow so we could talk about what was right and what was wrong today on our little forecast here. Make sure you join me tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and we will talk about how right we were or how wrong we were. Ron said, one has to believe the Federal Reserve is people who see the same signals as Danielle. The question is, why are they not discussing? Ron, I think that in order to be fair, I think the job of the Fed is to manipulate markets as much as anything. I really do. So they're not going to say a lot of these things. They may be discussing them behind closed doors, but you're trying to you're trying to control the lemmings. You're trying to manipulate the markets. And I just think that, because of that, that's why I think that they may start saying the words hike right now. I'm hoping he doesn't. If not this meeting, it'll be next meeting. I think you will hear the word hike out of Powell's mouth. If you don't hear it in this meeting, I think you'll hear it next meeting, unless we get a really, really great CPI report on the 15th. The next meeting is what, June 20th, I think it was? June 12th. So, yeah, we're going to get the 15th. And then let me take a look here. What is the next CPI report after that? CPI dates. So we've got May 15th, and then the Fed meeting is June 12th. Look at that, same day as the CPI report. So because of that, I don't think that it'll be, I don't think that. No, I think they're going to start saying the word hike. I am hoping they don't say it today. If you hear the word hike out of his mouth, anything other than no, we're not considering hikes, or no, they're not on the table. If you don't hear something definitive that's pushing, Ron said the Fed cannot hike and will be forced to lower rates to offset the Bank of Japan actions. That gets real deep. So I know what you're talking about. We'll talk about it more later. But all right, let's see what tomorrow brings, my friends. Hopefully you'll join me tomorrow. We can chat about it. I'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Keep your fingers crossed. Bye-bye.